Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1 for this, our weekly news roundup video. Hope you're all doing well. Got quite a bit to go through this week, including another steward losing their job, Zach Brown's opinions on full-time stewards, Lewis Hamilton's had a crash already, Mercedes have got some news about their 2025 Challenger, and also some interesting stuff coming out of the Red Bull Ford camp as well. And we got some F1 Academy names confirmed for 2025 as well. All that to come in this video. Before we do that though, remember to like and subscribe, and a huge shout out to the members, Dakota, the Joyous James, Robin Myers and Cinnamon Strudel. Also, new video went out yesterday on the channel about the 2024 season, but in reverse. So we see how the championship would have played out if the season had been in the other direction, including a very, very tight start to this season. So make sure you check that one out once you have watched this one. But let's start with the biggest news of the week, and that is that Johnny Herbert will no longer act as an F1 driver steward for the FIA. It was mutually agreed that his role as a steward and a media pundit was incompatible. He has put the FIA put out a statement. Firstly, here it is, if you haven't seen it already, but it says, "It's with regret that we announce today Johnny Herbert will no longer fulfill the position of F1 driver steward for the FIA. Stewart is widely respected and brought invaluable experience and expertise to his role. However, after discussions, it was mutually agreed that his duties as an FIA steward and that of a media pundit were incompatible. We thank him for his services and wish him well in his future endeavours." This was followed up by a statement from Stewart himself. Not Stewart, Herbert. I keep on calling him Johnny Stewart because he's a steward, but his name is Johnny Herbert. This statement that he put out saying, "I'm very grateful for the opportunity of being an FIA driver steward, and I have thoroughly enjoyed the role I've been involved in over the years. It is a difficult job and there are tough decisions that have to be made. As stewards, we have and will continue to treat both drivers and team personnel with the utmost respect and remain impartial at all times during all F1 Grand Prix weekends. Finally, I am grateful to the President and everyone at the FIA for opportunities that I have been given." Signed, Johnny Herbert there. So, Herbert is gone, which for some will be great news. Personally, I thought that he shouldn't really be a steward. I think it's okay, maybe, to have a media-facing role and be a steward. Like, I think that stewards should be able to be interviewed under the media. I know Herbert's role was a little bit different because he was regularly appearing, although he hasn't been on Sky for a couple of years, but I know he was doing some stuff with like gambling companies and all this kind of stuff. The issue for Johnny Herbert was that it was very obvious who he liked and incredibly obvious who he didn't like, because he did not like Max Verstappen and everyone was aware of that. And you know, when you are a steward and everyone knows which driver you don't like, every time you give that driver a penalty, it will come under scrutiny, even if that penalty is very much well-deserved, because everyone knows that you don't like them, which Johnny Herbert made perfectly clear in his time as a media pundit for Sky. So, I understand why they have gone down this role and let go of him here. The interesting thing, though, is surely every steward has these opinions. Johnny Herbert has only lost this role because he made his so obvious. If Johnny Herbert had never said anything, he'd still be in the job and he still wouldn't like Max Verstappen, which is always kind of interesting to me. It's as soon as they open their mouths, they get in trouble here. Because, you know, if you're a steward or anything to do with F1, I always say it's about the Sky team, because the Sky team always very much want to put out that they're impartial, when it's very obvious that they're not. Not just because of the things that they say, but because they're Formula One fans. How can you be a Formula One fan and not go, "Oh, I like that guy, I don't like that guy"? Even if you don't have a favourite guy, you have drivers that you like more than others. So when people say, "Oh, I'm impartial," it's like, yeah, but you're really not, because there is someone on that grid who you like more than the others. And that normally does come across, as it did with Johnny Herbert, who, as I said, did not like Max Verstappen. But another thing to add to this is just another FIA steward now who has been let go in the space of 6 months. We had multiple storymen. The heads of the FIA stewards were rolling, I think, before the Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's another one who's gone now. I don't even know how many we have left, but we're heading to a position now where the 2025 season will be stewardless. No rules. Just do whatever the hell you like and let's see what happens. But like I said, I do think it was the right decision to get rid of him, just because he was so outwardly there with, basically saying who he did and didn't like, which I don't think you should do as a steward. Like I said, you can't really be impartial, but you just, pretend to be, maybe, please, Anyway, Zach Brown has been asked his opinion on this, and he's had an interesting thing to say here. So, this is what he said. To have unpaid stewards in a multi-billion-dollar sport where everything online is not the right way to go. As far as paying for stewards, I'm happy if McLaren and all F1 teams want to contribute. It's a technical job where we have to get it right. No one will tell you good job, but I don't think we're prepared for success by not having full-time stewards. I would like them to take a step back and have a full-time steward who can make a more subjective decision about whether something was right or wrong. As for paying for them, it will probably be unpopular among my teammates, but I'm happy if McLaren and all teams contribute. It's very important for F1. It can't be that expensive if everyone contributes. What I don't know is what the contractual relationship is between the FIA and Formula 1 on these stewards. But at the end of the day, the agreement says that the part-time stewards are not paid. In any business, if you want something different, it's called a change of the order. If you want change, someone will have to pay for it. Now, I have to say, I 100% agree with this. In fact, I think this is something that Gunther Steiner was calling for years ago. I think this is something that he's been big on for quite some time. But yeah, 100%. I think F1 should have full-time paid stewards, because then this inconsistency that we have seen a lot, where you have one incident one weekend and it's one penalty, and another incident the other weekend is a different penalty, or maybe a completely different outcome, that will be gone. If it's the same guy deciding every single weekend, then that is sorted. I think that's the right way to go from there. And also, they should be paid. It's a job. It's the same way I think marshals should be paid, because marshalling is an incredibly difficult and dangerous job. Let's not forget, marshals have lost their lives at races before. I'm not saying they should have this huge wage, but at least chuck them a bit of money, because they're giving up their free time. I know they're very passionate and loving and volunteers, but I think they should get a little bit of money, because they're putting their lives on the line at the end of the day. But yeah, stewards the same way. Like he said, it would have to be all F1 teams contributing if the F1 teams are going to contribute. You can't have a steward just paid for by McLaren, because then again you're in a Herbert situation where, the team that they're paying, are paying this guy's wage, they haven't got a penalty in a while. Let's have a question there. But yeah, I think this is the right way to go. Will they do it? Probably not. But I think this is an interesting way that we could see going down the line. I doubt it'll ever happen, though. Moving forward, though, Lewis Hamilton had a huge week last week with his first time in Ferrari. This week hasn't gone as well. Had the second test of the Ferrari in Barcelona. I believe it was the 2024 car they were testing. Actually, was it? No, it was the 23 car. Anyway, Lewis Hamilton's had a crash, spinning into the barriers whilst testing the SF23 in Barcelona. Lewis Hamilton lost control of the car on the final stretch and hit the barriers. He is unharmed, but the car sustained some damage. The team reported that he's okay, but Charles Leclerc's stint will be delayed due to aerodynamic repairs. And I don't think Charles actually got out at all on that day. It couldn't have been too much of an issue for Charles, though, because I did see photos later on in the week of Antonio Giovinazzi testing. So, if there's time for Giovinazzi to test, they're not going to, they'd rather push him aside and give Leclerc the testing time if Leclerc desperately needed it, so I don't think that has hampered him in any way. But yeah, Hamilton's had a crash here. The thing is, we don't really know anything about this. There's no footage, there's no pictures. We don't know how bad it was. We know that it needed repairs, obviously, but we don't know how big of a crash it was. Obviously, he was unharmed, which is the most important thing. But, the thing is, if you're going to crash a car, if you're going to crash a Formula 1 car, crash it before the season begins. Is ideally the best time, rather than in a race or qualifying or anything like that. This is a process that he's working on. I doubt he crashed on purpose as part of that process, but it's finding out the car underneath him, getting used to everything there. And this means he's pushing it. He's pushing it as hard as he can, and this is something that happens. I don't think this is a big deal. I don't think this should worry people in terms of what's going to happen for him in 2025. I think this is just a thing that happens. Every F1 driver has crashed a car at some point. Equally, I've seen people go, oh, he crashed the McLaren in the 2007 preseason test. He crashed the Mercedes in the 2014 preseason test, and he won the championships. He didn't win the 2007 one, but he won the championship, which means he will definitely win the championship with Ferrari in 2025. And to that, I'd say, yeah, that's 100% true. That's why he will win, because he crashed. That is true. Moving to Mercedes now. And Mercedes have unveiled that they will have an event on February 24th, which will unveil their 2025 challenging car. Once again, looks like this F175 event, like we covered last week, is liveries only. So not only are we going to have the F175 event, it seems like a lot of the teams will have their own separate events. So Mercedes now confirming that they will have their own separate event on February 24th to unveil their car. I think Ferrari have said that they'll have a separate event, I think the day after F175. Williams have confirmed that they're having a separate event as well. And also Red Bull have said that their 2025 car, will make its on-track debut at the Bahrain Shakedown on February 25th. So the day after the Mercedes one. And I believe, is that no, I thought that was, I'm trying to think, is that, one second, I'm checking my calendar. I've got a little calendar here. Yes, that is the day before the first day of pre-season testing. So the 24th for the Mercedes reveal, that's the Monday. The Red Bull reveal is on the Tuesday, and then the Wednesday is the first day of F1 testing for 2025. So a busy week there in terms of seeing cars for the first time. I thought that we were going to have this F175 event and then that'll be done. And we'd go, oh, well, only one big event this year rather than each team having small events. No, it looks like most teams are going to have a small event. And we're going to have the big event as well. We'll wait and see how that works out for them. But in other news from Mercedes, huge news here. Kimi Antonelli has passed his driving test. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli there. Can now drive a car legally on the road, and he is a Formula 1 driver. What a great year it's going to be for Antonelli already. 2025 coming up very well. Congratulations to Kimi Antonelli from everyone here at Stop and Go F1 for passing his driving test. Moving across to Red Bull now, as I said, they will make their on-track debut at Bahrain on February 25th. But what might be connected to them a little bit has been confirmed this week, because Ford have confirmed that they will return to the Le Mans 24 Hours to fight for the overall victory as part of the World Endurance Championship with a prototype in 2027. Now, of course, Ford have this new partnership with Red Bull going into 2026 with the Red Bull Ford engines. And now Ford making their return to Le Mans as one of many teams making their return to Le Mans. Of course, we saw Ferrari return a couple of years ago. Aston are going to be there. Mercedes have confirmed that they're coming back as well. Lots of big names going to Le Mans for the first time in a while, or re-debuting in Le Mans over the next couple of years. But this got me thinking, because who is a Formula 1 driver on the grid right now who has made it very, very, very known that he would love to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans, whose contract may be running out relatively soon and has recently been reportedly approached by Aston Martin to move over and drive for them, who also have a Le Mans project? That's right, it's Max Verstappen. I'm wondering here if maybe this will be dangled in front of Max's face, being like, Max, don't go to Aston Martin, stay here with Red Bull, and if you want, we'll let you drive the Ford at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Could this be a little thing here, to and fro, as a little incentive to keep Max at Red Bull if Red Bull isn't going too well? We'll wait and see, because for sure, if Ford are going to Le Mans and they can have Verstappen in the car, they're going to want Verstappen in the car, and he's made it perfectly known that this is something that he has wanted to do for quite some time. So, we'll wait and see if that comes to fruition there. And finally here, quick news video for you, but two names have been confirmed for the 2025 F1 Academy season. They are Aurela Nobles, I always pronounce her first name wrong, Aurela Elia. Orilla? Nobles. She was in the season last year. She's confirmed that she'll continue this year with Puma, but also Maya Vug will continue with Ferrari for the 2025 season. She was also in the car last year, finished third, I believe, in the championship, but will continue into this year. Maya Vug was an interesting one because she was never really on the level of an Abby Pulling or a Dorian Pan, but she was much faster than pretty much everyone else, so she was just in a class of her own there in third. Of course, Abby Pulling not in F1 Academy this year because she won, so she has moved on, but Dorian Pan will still be there, so Maya Vug could be a close contender to Dorian Pan if she can take that step up, reach that next level of competition, or we could see someone completely new come out of the blue and dominate the whole thing. We'll have to wait and see what happens in 2025 F1 Academy. But that is it for the news this week. As I said, new video came out yesterday all about the F1 season in reverse. There will be a brand new video on this channel next Friday. Let's see what that is. I'll tell you what right now, as a little gift for getting to the end of this one, you get to know what next Friday's video is. Oh, it's a fun one. I like this one a lot. Who won the 2024 Formula 1 Practice Session World Championship? I gave points for every practice session, and we get to see who was the Practice Session World Champion. That comes out on Friday, so make sure you subscribe for that one. As I say, every week, we've got loads of videos coming out between now and testing. We'll have all the coverage of like the F175 events, the car launches. Then when testing happens, there'll be videos here every day to recap what happens there. Then, I don't know if you're aware that this is happening, but the F1 2025 season is going to start at some point. I know, shocking stuff. But we'll have all the coverage of that then. And, I can't believe this, there's more, because the week before, the Tuesday before the first F1 race of 2025, brand new season on the channel, be here every Tuesday. We are looking at the 1981 Formula 1 season. Stop and Go F1 retro review. That'll come out every Tuesday from the start of the F1 season. It's a bit of like a more comedic thing, but with some analysis and actual F1 footage as well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really looking forward to people seeing that. That's to come in the next month and a half or so. Loads of stuff to come on the channel. I can't believe how much content there is. It's all great. You're going to love it. Tell your friends. Tell your nan. It's a wonderful time. Until next time, though, have a good one. I will see you then. Until then, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just rambling. End the video. Goodbye!